This is Kenya's biggest conversation. We are glad that you are tuned in this morning. We are live streaming the show. We are also on Spice FM, and we are now on KTN Home for the next 2 hours between now and 9 o'clock. I want to say a very good morning to our audience on KTN Home. Thank you very much for joining us. This show starts from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday morning on Spice FM. Siti Muga, let's do the tradition. Today's proverb.
When the music changes, so does the dance.
When the music changes, so does the dance. So does the dance.
Today's that day, Eric. Don't worry.
It's Thursday. It's a third day. When the music changes, so does the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. And you give us a very, practical example. One gentleman who's now in court, who has spent the night in police custody, who was a former governor, whose music changed.
Yes. And the dance has also changed.
And the dance clearly
has changed.
It needs to change now and know what to dance.
Yes.
There's a dance that once was referred to by the late John Mishuki when he was having another conversation. And he was trying to throw barbs at his then cabinet colleague, Charity Ngilu. He was dancing Wadhi wa Mukamba.
That's what he said.
Yes, and he was just making some...
that was his attempt at humor.
Ah, yes. Saying,
that gentleman was actually at his funniest when he was actually not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Yes, he was actually quite hilarious.
Let's talk about learning, education, and studying abroad. And in this particular instance, let's talk about studying in Japan, okay? So we know there are very many Kenyans who have actually had the opportunity to go and study in Japan. Through the assistance of the people of Japan, the government of Japan, and the government of Kenya, and in other ways, people actually end up going to study in Japan. There are very many people who look for opportunities. So where can I get this kind of education? They're seeking specific skill, and they look for the best schools or colleges, universities that would be able to offer them that. So Japan also has that. Okay, so the people who would like to know what they ought to do to qualify for studying in Japan, or even to know, okay, so which kind of institutions or higher learning or learning institutions are there in Japan? We're going to have that conversation now, where we're joined by two people who are in Japan. It's now 7:05 a.m. in Nairobi, Kenya. It is 7:05 p.m. in Japan. So I don't know whether we're going to say good morning or good evening to our guests. Dr. Midori Daimon is an assistant professor and study abroad coordinator with the Study in Japan Global Network Project, Regional Office. And also we have Eugene Wanyama, who is a Senior Admission Counselor at, this is another very long one, Affiliation Ritsumeikan Asia and Pacific University. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And you respond by saying good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Lovely.
Actually, this side is 1 p.m. now.
Oh, it's 1, not 7.
Yeah.
I think my brother Eric has been influenced by the Swahili language, because 1 o'clock in Kiswahili is saa saba. So that is 7, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was thinking.
Yeah, that's actually what was in my mind. So let's first of all hear, Eugene, just pronounce this, the APU.
Okay, so that's a bit of a tongue twister. Thank you, congrats for the attempt. But it's Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University. But to prevent people from biting their tongues, we just call it APU. Everyone just calls it APU.
Okay. Okay, and Dr. Midori Daimon, thank you very much for also joining us this morning. Let's talk about the Study in Japan Global Network. What is that?
Okay, our project is called the Study in Japan Global Network Project. This project is entrusted by the Japanese Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology, which is called MEXT in short words. And this project's main purpose is to increase the number of people studying in Japan. So actually our office is called the Hokkaido University Africa Office, and which is in charge of Sub-Saharan Africa. And myself, Midori, Daimon. I'm a member of Nairobi branch to take care of East Africa, especially Kenya. So since there are still few information on studying Japan, so we try to distribute information through online and some events.
Okay. How would you like to be referred to? Doctor, or do you want us to use your first name or second name? Which one are you happy with?
Any is fine, but maybe Midori.
Midori,
If you-
okay, I like
if
the way it's
not
pronounced.
difficult.
Okay, now Midori, this
Yeah.
is the question I want to ask.
Yes.
What is
Okay.
the range of disciplines that learning in Japan affords a prospective learner?
Range. Oh,
Yes.
of course, we like the Kenyans who are very smart and have good performance
Yes.
to come to study in Japan. Yeah, and actually, to be honest, we have also scholarship schemes, but it's some of them are not full one. So we have to inform that that there's some scholarship, but it's not so full one. But how can I say? The sum of parts will be financed by universities or some foundations.
All right. Now, the subjects that are taught in the universities, what is the
Okay.
the number? I mean, it's a tall question I'm asking, but what subjects,
okay.
yes, do people generally come to study in Japan?
So actually, right now from Africa,
Yes.
most of them are for postgraduate level.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, we also want to increase the number of undergraduates. And actually, in Kenya, now in Japan, studying in Japan, total is 160, around 160.
Yes.
And then more than 100 are postgraduate students and like 40 undergraduate students. Yes, and also
if I may add to that.
Yes, go ahead, Eugene.
Oh, sorry about that. Just if I may add to that, so there's a really diverse range. So Japan, quite often you'd have a distribution of sciences and more humanities-related courses. So I would say it's a very, very diverse set. Sorry for interrupting, Midori-san. Please go ahead.
It's fine. Sorry, I couldn't manage to answer very well. Yeah, subjects popular to study is like science and technology, and also engineering. Yeah, those areas are very famous to study in Japan.
Okay. Why are you interested in having Kenyan students, other students come to Japan to study? Why are you focusing on bringing other nationalities into the country?
Now in Japan, actually our population is shrinking, and also many universities now need more students, but it's somehow there is a limit to get Japanese within our country. So we need also foreigners' power to come to study in Japan, and also if they really like Japan, we want them to work in Japan. That is the one of the purpose of calling the foreigners to come to study in Japan.
What would be the thing that would attract Kenyan students, other African students to Japan that they would not be able to get anywhere else when it came to an experience, education, and an overall life experience?
Sorry, could you tell me again?
What
Sorry.
would be the thing that students would be able to get in Japan different from what they would get anywhere else? What would be that thing that would say, come and study here, education-wise and also living-wise?
Okay, if the Kenyans came to Japan, also they can have good influence on Japanese students and also Japanese society, because we need some diversity for being internationalized. And also we Japanese, we learn a lot from Kenyans.
Okay. Eugene, let me come to you, Eugene. You're an admission counselor, so you definitely deal with very many Kenyans who are seeking to go and study in Japan. What is it that Japanese institutions would look out for and that would now make a Kenyan qualify? What tips would you give a Kenyan who would like to go and study either undergrad or postgrad in Japan?
So in Japan, one of the things that people really look for, they look for the ability to be taught. I think so. You'd actually find that quite a number of, especially if you have a specialized course, like if you go to a university that handles, let's say, the hard sciences, the natural sciences, medicine, things like that, they'll be zeroed in on your specific qualifications in certain fields. But then if you look at some of the more general places, they'd be very gentle in terms of their requirements, in terms of subjects. And the reason is, the assumption here in Japan is that you can be crafted to be whatever you need to be. You have to have a certain level of flexibility. To kind of borrow from today's phrase, when the music changes, so does the dance. But if the dancers only learn one kind of dance, when the music changes, they are left there, waltzing to, rumba, it kind of doesn't work. So what I would say, first of all, you need to have language ability. And traditionally, Japan has had courses taught in Japanese, but there are more universities which are offering courses in English. So you need to have a relatively good language score. And then you also have to have initiatives. So, the universities are looking for somebody who can actually change. As Midori-san said, san is an honorific term that's used in Japan, and we use it to address each other. So it's like Midori-san. But I think, in this context, it will just be easier to call her Midori. So as Midori mentioned, Japan, it doesn't have this, it's not really, it doesn't subscribe to this top-down hierarchy. It wants to be able to learn from you and you learn from them. So as a Kenyan student, we're looking for somebody who can actually teach the Japanese community something they don't know about Kenya and Africa as a whole, and also looking for a way to, somebody who's ready to experience new things, who can be a bit more open-minded and be able to absorb something new, because, trust me, it's very different from other locations.
Let me ask this question, Eugene. Are there English-speaking universities in Japan?
Oh, yes, quite a number. So, the project that Midori is heading right now, it's got a full list of universities which have English-based courses. So there's some private universities, national universities, and others. So like the university that Midori represents, Hokkaido University, it's one of the top. It's a national university, so it's a very prestigious institution with a long history, and they have courses in English there as well. And the university I represent is actually half of our courses are available both in English and Japanese. So everything that we offer, you can study in English or Japanese. And there are more universities starting to offer courses in English as well.
As a percentage, what would you say is a percentage of universities that are offering courses in English as opposed to those who are traditionally offering courses in the Japanese language?
It's very small, because Japan has about 800 universities, right, Midori-san?
Yes, like 800 universities, and more than 800 courses from 100 universities are provided in English. And if we talk about undergraduate course, these days now we found like the 75 courses offered by 27 universities are provided in English or English and Japanese, and those bilingual courses can provide the opportunity to learn Japanese language seriously. So even if you don't have any Japanese proficiency, you can consider to apply those bilingual courses. On the other hand, most of courses, among 75 courses, are totally taught in English.
So how does one begin this journey if they said, okay, well, I'm going to pick up these tips that I've gotten this morning? How does one begin?
Wanyama-san.
Well, okay. I think for us, I would say you start by going online. If you go online, so our university, the website would be apu.ac.jp, and you'd be able to get information. We have webinars, we have different systems, but again, so from my perspective, I'll tell you more about it as we go ahead. But I have the specific information for one university. Another thing you can do is to reach out to Midori, because the network covers all universities in Japan. So, for example, at my university, we don't have science-based subjects. We mainly focus on business and social science. But if you talk to Midori, she'll be able to give you a full range of all the courses offering like engineering, political science, etc., etc. Right, Midori, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah. Yes, I'd like to inform that now we have the website www.studyinjapan-africa.com. This, our project website, shows can introduce the courses which is offered in English, and also if you are stuck to courses which is good for you, they can also directly contact us through that website. And actually, next week on Wednesday, from 8 a.m. in Kenya, we will have webinars for one of courses, undergraduate courses at Hokkaido University. So if you have some interest in chemistry, physics, and biology, and then if you want to pursue undergraduate degree, it's good. I want you to listen to that website. And the registration, you can do it in our website.
Oh, okay. Another issue for lots of people considering education outside the country is the cost. And I know you mentioned yourself, Wamala, also about scholarships being available. But is this something that's available? If Kenyan students are going to consider going to another country, they want to be sure that they can pay for it. Are these financial aid elements provided, available?
Yes, Eugene, do you want to?
Yeah, both of you can actually.
Yeah, Midori-san, please go ahead. Yeah, for the bigger scale, I'll follow up.
Okay. At first, about fees. Okay, if you compare to other universities in abroad like US or UK, actually in Japan it's somehow reasonable. And also about financial assistance, one of them is Makes scholarship, that is Japanese government scholarship, that is full one. But other financial assistance is done by like universities, such as Nitsumeikan APU. They have also the tuition reductions, and also you can apply for some foundation scholarship scheme so that you can get some assistance for using daily expenses. Yeah. Eugene-san also.
Yeah, to kind of build on that. So actually, I must say I'm really surprised because we have quite a number of Kenyans in terms of people coming to Japan. A lot of Kenyans come here, but I'm really surprised that more Kenyans are not here yet because there's a whole lot of different things. So first of all, if you look at the tuition, we've got private universities and public universities. The public universities are top-notch, and especially if you're studying things like the sciences, they've got all kinds of different equipment and access to resources that you wouldn't get elsewhere. And the price, so the Japanese yen is almost equivalent to Kenyan shillings. So it's about 500K for many courses. That's 500,000 Japanese yen, which is almost 500,000 Kenyan shillings. And then you go to private universities. So like my university is a private university, and it's about 1.5 million for a year of education. But we also give a lot of scholarships, like quite a lot. So as Midori-san said, Japan is really trying to reach out, and especially because there's not much information about Africa and Kenya, like compared to other parts of the world. They want to learn more, but from the people individually. So you actually stand a really good chance. And our education system is actually not bad. If you compare it to the education system in other parts of the world, the Kenyan system is actually quite good. We get good records. So people with a good academic score would be competitive in this scholarship run. And then as language is concerned, because we grew up speaking English and Swahili anyway. So your understanding and your ability to speak both languages is actually another advantage that you have. So the only thing that I would say that I've seen in my particular instance that kind of draws Kenyans a little bit back as compared to certain students from other places is that our education system focuses way too much on academics and not on the extracurricular. So you find students who go to private schools tend to have a better record of things that they've done outside the school. But if I could tell young people, just try and get yourself involved in something, because what you want to see is not just that you're good at receiving information. You want to know that you're capable of taking that and making something out of your life. And if you can get that skill, it then makes it easier for you to get yourself into a position within any of the Japanese universities.
Amazing. Thank you very much for speaking to us this afternoon to you. We have been speaking to Eugene-san and Midori-san. This is Eugene Wanyama, Senior Admissions Counselor, affiliation. Okay, that university. Asian Pacific University, APU, in Japan. And Dr. Midori Daimon is the Assistant Professor and Study Abroad Coordinator with the Study in Japan Global Network Project from the regional office for Nairobi in Africa. Asante sana and have a lovely day.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
Asante.
Right, thank you.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.